Hi everyone, it's me again, Skylar. Maybe some new audience didn't, watch our live stream on the 26th, so please let me introduce myself again. I'm the host for today's live stream. My name is Skylar, and I'm from OKC Chain. I'm the campaign manager of OKC, and it's a great pleasure for me to welcome you to join our Find Future GameFi Hackathon live stream again. So let me, take some time and introduce our hackathon a little bit for you. So Find Future GameFi, the next type and hobby tech metaverse hackathon is held by the organizer Next Type, the world's leading blockchain game integrated distribution platform, and the co-organizer Hobby Tech, a cutting-edge technology company that is empowered by the joint concept of financial plus technology. So our hackathon is dedicated to supporting the development of metaverse and GameFi, bringing more resources and financial support to more high-quality GameFi projects, and accelerating the development of Web3. The more exciting thing is that more than a $3 million prize pool was prepared for the excellent GameFi projects to win. So the winning team will get the official supports, including the comprehensive incubation and distribution services by Next Type. And also will have the opportunities to communicate and get official approval from our excellent partners. So next, please allow me to present the wonderful projects giving their tremendous support and support to our Metaverse hackathons. So first of all, thanks to our special partners, which is OKC, my team, and BGA. And thank you to our sponsors. They are BitKeep, Lead Wallet, Map Protocol, Hyperpay, MDEX, and Decent. And thanks to all our other partners for all their incredible support on our hackathon. So as we all know, the blockchain game is not a newly developing area, right? It has been 4 years since the phenomenal application CryptoKitty arose in Ethereum in 2017 as the start, and XC Infinity was introduced in 2018. So since then, hot topic like GameFi, DeFi, and NFT has become popular, and more blockchain users just kept pouring in. So today's topic will still focus on blockchain and GameFi. So we hope that more players will get interested in it through our introductions and discussion about the GameFi, about blockchain, and about blockchain games. So hoping more users can know more about this field and experience the fun and charm of play to earn when they play the blockchain game. So let me first introduce today's process for today's live stream. So first part is BGA, Blockchain Game Alliance. Their representative will giving us a speech about their project. And the second part is our first panel discussion, which will discuss two topics. The first one was what kind of blockchain game is a successful GameFi project? And the second one is what's your suggestion for a startup GameFi project? Then we'll have another speech from Lead Wallet team, and then we'll have move on to our second panel discussion, which will discuss another two topics, which are why does Capital love GameFi project, and what kind of GameFi projects does Capital prefer? So now let's go to our first part and clap our hands. Welcome Flavian, the community manager of BGA, to speak about their project first. Hey.
Hey, hello everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you. Your
Awesome.
stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. Happy to be here. Happy to have the opportunity to talk with you and to be a part of this hackathon with you. It's a great opportunity for any project to thrive on that mission and that journey to build these blockchain games. And we're really happy to be a part of it. Obviously, if you don't know us, we are the BGA, which means exactly the Blockchain Game Alliance. It's an organization committed to promoting blockchain within the gaming industry. It's really our missions. And our goal is to spread awareness about blockchain technologies. And we want to encourage adoptions by highlighting the potential to foster new ways to create, to publish, to play games, and to build strong communities around games. Obviously, the main factors of what we do is it's about networking. The BGA provides an open forum for individuals and companies to share knowledge and to collaborate, to create common standards and establish best practices. And we want to capitalize on these best practices to be able to learn from what we do. We are a network of almost 400 companies in the VGA today, all over the world, and very happy to have all these members being a part of what we do. And the three pillars we have, is obviously, as I said, is networking, having the opportunity to speak and to meet personally, face to face. Sometimes it happens, yes, to be able to discuss opportunities for doing business, for learning, for sharing knowledge. And it helps a lot of these different projects to be a part of it, because obviously the mission is to promote blockchain within the gaming industry, but we want to capitalize on that mission to be able to gather a lot of different actors. We have NFT marketplaces, we have obviously gaming blockchain company, but we have also gaming studio, traditional gaming studio, want to make that first step into blockchain, and they want to learn more. So they want to be a part of a community who's willing to share knowledge. And we have protocols, layer 1, layer 2. We are happy to have numerous of sponsors, and one of we have multiple sponsors as well, but the president of the BGA is Sébastien Borget, co-founder of the Sandbox, one of the most famous blockchain games today. So we are very happy to capitalize on very successful companies within the BGA to be able to provide networking opportunities, as I said. But it's all about also visibility. As new projects, you need visibility and credibility in your projects to be able to say, I'm working and I'm building something new related to blockchain gaming. And we at the BGA provide this visibility with the kind of content we are able to publish each week. So it can be new members presentations where we give the stage to these wonderful people to talk about who they are and what they do. It could be demo day, where we want to let them showcase live their games, and we let the audience win some NFTs related to the game. Or it can be panel. Obviously, it's all about knowledge. It's all about education. So we capitalize on the expertise of our members to be able to talk about specific subjects and specific panels. We talked about eSport 3.0. We talk about environmental issues in blockchain gaming. We talk about a lot of different subjects, and it's a very good opportunity to learn from it. And the other part, the other pillars of what we do, obviously, sponsorship. You need to to have some advantages by being a member. So we're working with all the different BGA members to provide some assistance in a way with partnership opportunities. So very happy to be here. Very happy to have this opportunity to talk about the BGA, the Blockchain Game Alliance. We are happy to be a part of it by letting the winners to be a member of the BGA, and we hope to help him in the futures in the different activities. And yes, it's going to be a very good and interesting show afterwards, to have this panel where we will have the opportunity to talk with BGA members around what do we have to do to build a DeFi, GameFi games, successful games, And very happy to be here. The idea also is, to be able to provide some content, but also physical meetups. It's always a pleasure to have the opportunity to meet physically the partner you are usually talking with during your live. So yeah, this is a great opportunity. We're having a lot of opportunity to go to different places. In San Francisco, we were in London, in Paris, and happy to be here. And I would love to guide you on the next panel just after.
Thank you, Flavian, for bringing us such an amazing speech. I'm sure the audience and I all have a better understanding about BGA, which is committed to promoting blockchain within the game industry. And I believe that not just our guests here, but also maybe some of the audience who are watching our live stream could always notice that there are so many GameFi projects on the market, right? But not all of them, or we could say only a few of them present with a really great quality and deserve a good reputation. So here comes our first panel discussion. There are two topics we're going to be focusing on with our first panel discussion. The first one is what kind of the blockchain game is a successful GameFi project, and the second one is what is your suggestion for a startup GameFi project? And before we start our panel discussion now, please let me introduce our host and guest who will join in our first panel discussion today. So the host would be Flavian. He's the one just gave us an amazing speech, the community manager of BGA. And the guest for our first discussion are first one, Alper. I hope I pronounce your name right. The head of gaming from NFTB. And Max, he's the co-founder and CEO of Dogamy. And Ignace, he's the director at Eden Soul. And the last one is ANC. He's the co-founder and CEO of Lead Wallet. All right, Flavian, I'll hand you the mic.
Thank you very much. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. It's wonderful to have you here. I think the idea is obviously to tackle the different subjects that Skylar just mentioned by providing some context about what you do first. Will be better to understand what you do and what activities do you have. So Ignace, if you're willing to share what is the projects behind it and so would be great.
Yeah, hi everyone. Happy to be here. My name is Ignace. I'm one of the founders of game development studio Golem House, and we are working on a play-to-earn RPG currently in Solana. So it is a game about upgrading, about gathering lots of powerful items, upgrading them, putting them onto your character, getting more stats, and then participating in this really familiar growth of character, of strength that most of us are very well accustomed to in the gaming industry.
Awesome, thank you very much. Alper will be a very easy one for you. Same question, can you introduce yourself and the activity behind NFTB?
Of course. Well, first of all, many thanks for inviting me to this valuable event. Happy to be here. So, small introduction. My name is Alper. I'm the head of gaming at NFTB. So I am an extremely big gaming fan with professional experience from some leading global companies, now heading the GameFi strategy and initiatives at NFTB. And just as let's say a small introduction for NFTB also, for those who are not familiar with NFTB, it is a Binance-backed DeFi and digital ownership platform, art NFT marketplace, very, very soon game and music also. And apart from that, it's a multi-chain launchpad and incubator. So that would be a short intro of me and NFTB.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I just saw Max, if you can hear us. Hi, Max, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Perfect timing. Can you introduce yourself and Dogamy to the audience?
Absolutely. Let me quickly turn on my AirPods. Can you hear me? Perfect. Hi guys, nice to meet you. I'm Max, co-founder and CEO of Dogami. Currently in Paris. That's where our office is. What we do is basically a mobile play and earn game in which you adopt and raise a virtual NFT dog. And we're building this sort of metaverse, and for that we want to leverage highly like AR. So the gameplay is quite inspired by Pokemon Go or by Tamagotchi. So this is a short version of what we do.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. Happy to have you, everyone. A proud member of the BGA, and we got Elijah. Happy to have you as well. I don't know if you want to take time as well to introduce yourself and the activity behind.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Chenakolam Eliezer, CEO and co-founder of Leads Wallets, mostly known as ANC ANC. We're trying to build the simplest multi-functional, multi-chain crypto wallets. Happy to be here with every other person today.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, will be the first question. It will be for Ignace. How did you find out? It's all about GameFi, and it's all about finding the perfect fit for your games and the kind of games you want to have. And actually, that's the question. How did you figure out what kind of games you want to address and could be very useful by being implemented with the blockchain? How did you figure out, you and your team?
Well, I think initially looking at blockchain in general and its innovation, we felt that what makes, coming to the first question of this panel, what makes a blockchain project successful is usually, can be called longevity, I guess, because players investing into your project, they want to be part of a universe that grows throughout years to come. But I feel like the main root of the issue is actually sustainability. So the problem that we currently see, I guess, is that blockchain being such a new space, we as game developers are not necessarily used to or accustomed to putting value on every single item in the game. So usually, in games where you don't necessarily have such a direct conversion rate between real currency, you actually get a little more leeway, essentially being able to kind of allow for some mistakes. And the current issue we see with blockchain is that the main problem that we are facing with is just sustainability. So putting in that really difficult work in terms of game economy to make sure that all of your values are so neatly put together so that you know that when you're selling an item, when you're offering any sort of item for the player to buy, they can see that, this item is going to provide them this much value, through this amount of time, depending on how they interact with the game. And this being such a new space and many, new developers going into it and kind of facing this problem, from absolutely zero, we sometimes kind of fall to this mistake where we try to look at other projects, of similar design that are using certain prices for certain items. And I feel like this leads to the main problem that we're currently having, which is that sustainability where you're selling items at a speculative item that does not allow for the universe to grow and essentially leads to the universe's collapse. And so I think that the most important thing or the most successful blockchain projects that are going to come are going to be from teams that actually figure out the solution to making the game entirely sustainable. So putting in the most work in the economy and making sure that all of the loops actually make sense so that you're never leaking value anywhere and there is no real gaps that allow for those economies to crumble in record times.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And actually, before going through what you just said, which is so true about sustainability, and actually the fact that we are about gaming, we are in a long-term relationship with players. We wasn't quite the same thing for playing a game just before. So maybe on that note about sustainability, how do you see that level of importance for sustainability in the game for Dogami, Max?
It's super important, I would say. I mean, I think there's been a lot of examples already of games that, as Ignace rightfully said, collapsed. And for us, it's really important to balance it from the very beginning. I mean, balancing games is hard also in the traditional gaming world. And, there's always a lot of discussions whether rebalancings are good or not. But I think if you screw it up from the very beginning, you're really going to piss off the community. So I think you have to be a bit more cautious in the beginning in terms of how much rewards you give or how much NFT accessories you give, or how easy it is to gain those rewards. And rather being a bit too restrictive in the beginning and then opening up the gates than the opposite, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And actually, on that note, Alper, I know that you are putting a lot of effort to integrate digital gaming assets in the platforms. And do you feel like this sustainability, you're playing a big role for that to allow some sustainability in the games that they are creating? What kind of thing what kind of relationship do you have with the gaming companies in the platform?
Yeah, so basically, when we engage in a relationship with these kind of gaming companies, first thing is that to understand their needs. You know, I mean, obviously, there are a lot of variables which, let's say, define the success of a project, which we would like to help in their success. So, for instance, if they have an engaged community, if they have a hands-on team being open to feedback and build on it, and if the roadmap is very well planned, marketing and tokenomics are well designed, while offering a unique and engaging gameplay, then when we engage in this relationship, we commit to this project as a long term, because then we understand these projects have come this way, doing these what I mentioned properly with a long-term vision. So then, after that point, it's just a matter of execution of the relationship and the partnership, and that is what we believe in success, to keep it going further together. So that's how we approach it.
Okay. We have so much to cover in only 40 minutes, so it's gonna 30 actually 30 minutes. But I know that's a big thing, and I know that Max, you are working hard on it with the gaming, is all about interoperability, which this idea that with digital gaming assets you can see your gaming assets in different world. And I know that you're taking a big part of that with the first announcement that you made with this sandbox and the doggy universe that you want to build. Can you talk a little bit about how much interoperability could play a role in blockchain gaming?
So a lot, I think, and I think this interoperability is going to be the precursor to what Animoca always calls open metaverse, which is the antidote to the closed metaverse that Facebook wants to build, or Meta wants to build. So I think it's going to be really important that projects like we or Sandbox try out what's possible. And this is going to help set a standard for data structures, the 3D models, etc., etc. Because obviously, if you introduce an item into a game, there also needs to be a backend in place that can process the information that's incoming and give something back. So I think there's a lot of work to be done, but I think it's a worthwhile endeavor because that really supercharges the utility of your NFTs and can make it really compelling.
Yeah. Ignace, I will ask the same question for you. I know that it's early phase on the project that you have, and I had the chance actually to have a view of what you're doing with the gameplay as well. But in the long term, do you feel like it's going to be very important for you to have a sustainability in the way that it's going to be interoperable with other projects?
Well, I wouldn't say that interchanging NFTs, for example, with other projects is a key part to success as we see it. Now, sustainability, absolutely, right? So, we've seen plenty of examples of games in the gaming industry existing for decades, essentially working just by themselves and having people such as gold farmers. I'm sure many people are familiar with them from the early MMO days, where they would actually make a living consistently for years to come in a game that is not necessarily connected with any other universe. And so while I think that the concept of sharing NFTs is very well, interesting, I would believe that essentially what it accomplishes is essentially just combining two games together, right? So if you have a game sharing an asset with another game in different universes where, you're sharing either a castle, a car, or a t-shirt, whatever that is, that to us essentially means that it is just two games kind of coming together, and it begs a question: why have not these games been developed together from the get-go as one bigger game? And so we feel that the NFT sharing does have potential for various applications, that we may not even yet be aware of, but we do not see it as a mandatory feature for our game, as we've seen multiple examples of games going on for decades with exactly a vacuum system, not connected to anyone, and just providing enough value where people are willing to play and pay for, their progress, and then at the same time people really using that play to earn aspect to whatever needs they may have. Does that make
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting for me to have your feedback. All of you started with Alper about of course, kind of blockchain games with the vision and specific idea for the games. We could be really focused on these terms, which is play to earn, but we're talking about play and earn. But what's your take on that? It doesn't have to have discussions around what is the difference, or should we make a difference between the games? But how could we focus the kind of gameplay and the kind of game we want to produce, and what do we need to base on a specific thing, which is play to earn, play and earn, and everything around? What do you think, Alper?
Yeah. So basically, it all ends up to be long-term sustainable. That's what Ignas was mentioning also, and that is the key thing. So what I could say is that, so basically a team first needs to ask themselves, in terms of their play-to-earn concept and the game concept, what they want to achieve at the end of their journey, or in their, let's say, next milestones, where they want to be. Then what exactly they need for this, then work backwards from there. So I see many projects just jumping into the space, just diving into the building a project without thinking ahead. So that's what I would say, like work backwards from your goals, and choose your backers and advisors very wisely. So, and apart from that, hear your community. I mean, what I believe is feedback is a very valuable gift. And if you have your backers, goals, community set, let's say, well, and you do your mechanisms for your play to earn aspect on what you want to do based on your needs and your backers, community, people's needs, then you tap on that right point. That's what I say.
Okay. Max, what do you think? Should we really have the discussions and about play to earn, play and earn? Should we think of that as a developer of a game?
I think we do, because looking at Axie now, they're struggling a bit right now, and I think they were just giving away too many rewards and acquiring too many customers and too much community on the premises of getting steady flow of rewards. And when you now hear them talk, they also talk about play and earn. And I think if you want to have a sustainable system that allows you, to build something in the long run, you also need to earn money as a company rather than just giving away tokens and money. And so I think the notion between play to earn versus play and earn is very important, because the play and earn sort of underlines the importance also of the entertainment value of you having a good time, of you having a good gaming experience. So I think it's important.
Yeah, Ignas, I know I noticed that you want to jump on it, so feel free.
Well, I do look at play to earn a bit differently personally, because the way we look at it, whenever you commit your team, your project to actually work in the blockchain space, which essentially means that some assets in the game are going to be owned by players, they're going to be tradable. I feel like the play to earn happens inevitably, right? So at any point, you're just as developer, you're allowing your players to trade assets for a certain value. And so inevitably, you're going to have players that are going to come into the game and see it as an opportunity to earn something by selling that, whatever they earn in that game to other players. So I feel like as long as, the moment you commit yourself to working in blockchain and having those assets that are tradable, you are going to have play to earn. Now, as a developer, in terms of economy, you absolutely have to prepare for it, because if there's a good chance, to make money in that game, you absolutely have to count that in when calculating your economy to make sure that it doesn't ruin the game's economy, doesn't make it inflated. But we have seen, other games, as I mentioned in the past, kind of working with that for multiple decades, and it absolutely can work. So I feel it would be the wrong question to ask, whether play to earn is something that we have to, think about or implement in our games. I just feel like one conclusion that we can all agree with is that the game shouldn't be made with the purpose of, play to earn. It just has to be a regular game where you're allowing your players to trade assets, but then you absolutely have to be prepared for that moment when players actually come to earn your game, which is going to be inevitable, because you're not going to be able to stop players from coming into your game. And then the second part, if I could quickly add to that, what makes a game successful or how should we pick the next game, or just the project that would work with play to earn in general? I feel like this comes back to that sustainability point, where games usually in the gaming industry have a lifetime regularly, right? So some games, may have a peak a year, a couple of years after their launch, and then they slowly dwindle down to the, being forgotten as more and more games come out, as games become more advanced. And I feel like to pick the most successful project for going into the blockchain space, if you're just starting, I feel the absolute best strategy would be to look in the games industry and see which games have actually survived for those decades by having active communities and nourishing all of their engagement. And what you'll see is that usually those are games that are not necessarily complex or have very unique gameplay. We see plenty of relatively simplistic games going on for decades, but the main factor that allows them to be those, to outlive everyone else, is that the game is engaging enough with simplistic gameplay, and then you can add to it in terms of mechanics that don't bring massive problems to you as a developer. So usually mechanics that are either that go one next to each other without complexifying. So for example, if you have a very complex 3D game that's really shiny and you want to add more stuff to it, you're essentially going to reach a threshold where you as developer are no longer able to either maintain the engine, or it's going to blow up in size, and it's going to be really difficult to make that game long lasting by just doing some sort of updates, when if you have instead a more simplistic game, you're able to add, for example, all of those RPG mechanics that we're very well familiar with. So you can own a piece of a land, you can build a house, then in a separate mechanic that's still connected in this world, you can go on a dungeon, you can create a castle, you can go to war with your clanmates. I feel like those are exactly the type of games that are going to be surviving for the long term. And when we talk about sustainability, if you want to have a project that has the best chance, those would be the examples to pick from.
Awesome. I love it. And actually, just before coming back to you, Harper, you just mentioned something very important, Ignace, and I think it's one of the main ingredients for success, which is community. Obviously, we're playing a game, so that makes sense, but that makes more sense with the blockchain games. Coming back to you, Ignace, and after Max, how do you make sure that your community is growing and is engaging with the game you are developing?
Well, I think, frankly, player engagement is not something new in the games industry in general, and the honest answer is to be implementing features that engage your community, that incentivize them to interact, whether that's through friend lists, you're making a clan, having a neighbor with which you can interact in various ways. Those are the mechanics that have been, the most successful in building communities in decades past. And I feel like the gaming industry, at least, not blockchain yet, but the gaming industry has already figured out those mechanics and how they work and which ones are the best to use. And the answer is all of them. So everything you can implement into your game, everything that incentivizes players to talk to each other, to share items, to share their victories, to design certain features that allow you, that are shareable, that kind of, give your players a chance to boast to their friends about some really great achievement that they've had. All of those things absolutely help. And I feel like it's not a problem that we have yet to solve. I feel like we just have to figure out the implementation of all those already existing solutions into a slightly different space in blockchain. But I feel like the answer is already there. We just have to learn to best implement.
I kind of agree, Ignace. The only thing is, as a gamer as well, and a really supporter of the games I played for traditional games, I feel like we always have Discord for sure, but it's kind of the new audience that we have on Discord for blockchain gaming now, and the kind of community we're trying to grow based on the fact that we're developing blockchain games in a specific way. Community first with investment, and after that, you guide your community with everything new to the games. Star Atlas is a very good example of that, with the kind of functionality they're putting and the big audience they have and the big plan they have in the futures. So it makes a lot of sense what you said. And Max, do you feel the same way about building a community behind the Doggyverse?
Yes, definitely. I think there's two things I'd like to add. One thing that we would like to add into the mix for Dogami, to build the Dogami community, is basically having in real life events where you as a, for example, NFT holder can participate in certain events. There's been examples like Ingress that were very much centered around, like real life experiences. So that's point one. And the second point for me is that the user acquisition in blockchain gaming is a bit more delicate than in traditional gaming, because in traditional gaming, if you add one more user, it usually doesn't go at the expense of the previous users. Actually, it just grows the user base, which is good. Whereas for the, let's say, blockchain gaming world, if you add an additional NFT, the stock of NFTs gets inflated. So this additional user also needs to add to the network value, etc. And I think this is one of the most delicate things that needs to be managed in the space. So this trade-off between adding new users, catering to the needs of the OGs.
Okay. Harper, I don't want if you want to take some words about that kind of community. Do you bring community to? Do you try to start your community as well in the platform, or how do you bring communities from the games that you are having in your platform?
What do you, can you repeat the question? Like, what do you mean exactly bringing the community from games?
Yeah, how do you see the importance of community in the platform that you have with the gaming assets?
Okay. So basically, in my opinion, this one, like bringing the community, is all by, in my opinion, giving back the value to the community, to the people. If you see them as like owners of a game or owners of a project, not just like a customer, then that I would say is the right way, and which attracts people. So when you are just trying to sell stuff, let's say NFTs, or get them in the game by selling some stuff, and not really, that is where it gets tricky. So what we always try to do is to reward the community, add some value to them, provide some value to them by participating in our events, and then engage them and connect them with other quality communities and games. So that's how we want to bring the communities together, and to grow the ecosystem to a better place.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. In this fast-moving environment that is crypto, that is blockchain, related to game as well, and all the technology behind and the changes we have through the different use cases we have with the more successful game or more other games, what do you think about collaboration? And you don't have to say BGA, Blockchain Game Alliance, in your answer for sure, but how do you see collaboration in a broad way, how do you see that with the other activities in blockchain? Ignace, if you can start.
You mean between projects in terms of design and combining them together, or what?
Any type of services or activities that could help your project to grow related to blockchain. How do you see that coming in the blockchain space, which is a very fast-moving space?
Yeah, I think my answer may sound a bit boring on this, but frankly, just again, taking a look at the gaming industry, which is a bit older and has some of that experience in growth and what teams and what projects succeed, I feel like especially in a space that's so new and is moving so quickly, the absolute best way for the projects to get the most value of just the experience that the overall industry is accumulating very quickly is to work with other projects in terms of sharing the experience. So again, this is really simple, but those projects, those teams that put in the most effort talking to other teams and figuring out what works, what doesn't, are going to be the first that advance the quickest, like so much faster than everyone else. And I feel like this is really the only true answer that, in my at least opinion, is almost well, not non-negotiable, I forgot the word, but essentially that is indisputable. And then every other collaboration, obviously, you may have communities that, for example, are playing multiple games. So again, you look at your game, you look at the design of your game and may choose partners based on that, just not only to share experience and what works and what doesn't, but also to interact between your two communities and perhaps show them that, there's this another game that works just as ours, or that has similar possibilities, for people that have similar interests. So that's another venue of building engagement between two communities. But I feel like by far the most value teams are going to get by just talking to each other and sharing the experience and what they have been able to learn so far, because it's moving so quickly that the moment you stop learning, you're going to be falling far behind the curve, especially if you're isolated from the rest of the industry.
Yeah, Max, what do you think? Talking with other actors?
No, I mean, very true what Ignace is saying. I think what I love about this space is that it's a growing space. So we are at the very beginning. And what you usually see in growing markets or segments is that it's not very competitive yet. So people tend to really help each other. And actually, it's really one of these things where, you have the more the merrier, because each project educates their target group on blockchain, on Web3, on tokens, etc., on game mechanics. So I think this is already a huge service that we're doing to each other, but obviously helping, working together, setting standards. Also now we're having some regulatory concerns because of the EU regulation, working together on those aspects. I mean, is necessary to build a proper antidote to the traditional gaming world, I would say.
Yeah. Actually, just before coming to you, Halper, this is a very good point. To everyone, feel free to go to the blockchaingamealliance.org website, where you have a full report we did end of last year with Dogami, but also other BGA members, to be able to understand their points of view about the blockchain gaming industry. And obviously, one of the biggest challenge was about regulatory. So obviously, the idea is to do something about it, to provide some knowledge around it. So feel free to jump on it. And yeah, Alper, how do you see collaboration? I guess it's a big part of what you do, right, with the other games.
Exactly. That's also, like you said, that's what we have been trying to do. Being in the middle, we try to get everyone collaborate together to grow the space. I'm in general, huge pro collaboration person. And in my opinion, the valuable collaboration is a meaningful collaboration is very valuable for projects to grow. I mean, it's a very fast moving and growing ecosystem. And the beauty of it is that it's a sharing and communal ecosystem. So whoever, bridges the gaps between, it can be games, it can be projects. And whenever these distances come smaller or shorter between different projects through meaningful collaborations, then I would say this is very much adding value to the ecosystem overall. So I would always advise on meaningful collaborations to grow the individual communities and to grow the ecosystem altogether. So that's where I stand personally.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Last question I could have to you guys is not going to be an easy one, so I'm sorry for that. But you can very enlarge your answer for sure. But in this particular situation where we have an hackathon, what could be your advice for the guys behind the wheels and trying to build something? What could you advise for them? Any one advice you could have for them? Ignace, I'm sorry to start with you.
I think one advice, if we really, reduce it to one, I feel would be go simple. Again, this comes back to my point that I mentioned. We don't think as a team that a game has to be complex. Well, first of all, to be engaging. I mean, look at hyper casual games that have players returning to them for, again, decades, really. And at the same time, it really don't think of it as a compromise that you're making to the quality of the game, because what that means is that you're going to have the time necessary to actually put in the rest of the work into the economy, into the potential blockers or pain points that the players are going to have. So focusing on complexity is absolutely the wrong decision, I would say. And yeah, so my advice would be go simple. And then if you see that you absolutely have the time, that everything else is done, then you can think about those exciting updates, which is so easy and so tempting to do in the very beginning.
Perfect advice. Max, what do you think?
Oh, one advice is difficult.
Could be
really liked. Okay, no. So I really like Igna's point. So I think that's also our approach to Gummy. Like start with a simple game, because it's complex enough. It's a very new space, so that's good. And then obviously also I think focus on branding and community building from day one, from day -10 probably, because those are the people who are going to support you. And they're going to carry you through the hard times, and they also give you input on their product, etc. So this is my advice: focus on your community.
Yeah. Alper, what could be your advice?
Yeah, as Max said, there are a lot of good advices there could be, but if I were to minimize it to one, I would say find your path to long-term sustainability, which is in my opinion, the most key thing for a project. And as I said before, plan what you want to do, like know what you want to do, when you want to do, and what exactly you need to accomplish that. And then work backwards from there with the right partners, the backers, investors, who will be there long-term in your planned major milestones and who will support you all the way. So that would be the path to long-term sustainability. I mean, there is no fixed way for it, but yeah, every project needs to adapt to the situation, customize their approach based on their community, the needs, the plans, and then develop your product, market your product based on that, to aligning with the key partners to achieve long-term sustainability. So just find your way. That's my advice.
Yeah, as you are approaching the 5th of May, could be the perfect timing to say, find your way.
Yeah.
That was references. But yeah, thank you very much. Sustainability is a big word of all what we were talking. Obviously, I loved something that one of the members said, which was involved in the traditional gaming, and said one project and one game, it's you develop it and you kill it afterwards, and you come to the other project after. Kind of not the similar things right now. You want to take care of the relationships you're building and the law. We didn't talk about the law, but I know it's so important to talk about how you storytell your game. But yeah, it could be the final word. So thank you very, very much, each three of you, for participating to this talk. Thank you for this opportunity, Skylar, and all the team to be able to provide this place for us to talk. Thank you very much. Bye,
Thank you, Flav, for the
Thanks
coordination.
for having us.
Hosting.
Thank you, Flavin. And thank all
Take
our
care.
guests for sharing their unique perspective on the topics. I'm pretty sure we all learned a lot. And it's about time to introduce our next guest. We invite a unique crypto wallet project here. So let's welcome ANC. I believe he's here already, right?
Hi. Yeah, I'm here.
Hi. Yeah, so ANC is the co-founder and CEO of Lead Wallet. Could you please introduce yourself and share with us some information about Lead Wallet?
Okay, I'm going to share my screen right now, please.
All right.
Please let me know when you see it.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. I would like to say I'm happy to be here. This is a GameFi Hackathon. The panel discussion was amazing. It was insightful. And it's nice to see blockchain projects finally thinking of working together to, bring things together in the space. There have been trends we've seen. We've seen the days of ICUs come and gone. Not too long ago, we've seen DeFi blow up exponentially. We've seen NFTs blow up exponentially. Right now, we're seeing the GameFi industry blowing up. And there's so much interest for GameFi right now. But one of the things I would say is poor that we've experienced so far within the crypto space is trends coming, being hyped, and then just dying off, projects as if they go into oblivion. And I would say this is mostly because of the lack of cooperation. Everybody wants to go there first. Everybody wants to be the first, the most popular game. Let me use GameFi for an example. But I think if projects work together and understand that we are trying to achieve mass adoption when it comes to the blockchain industry, we are not competing, so to speak, with the traditional world, or the traditional gaming world. What we're doing is trying to merge, trying to create a bridge between the traditional world and the blockchain industry. So I think if that realization should hit most of the project founders, they will understand that what we need is to introduce blockchain gaming to traditional gaming, bridge both systems together, and then try to stir mass adoption through education, if I should put it that way, to educate and incentivize traditional gamers to come into the blockchain gaming industry. Okay, so moving on, I would like to introduce the audience to our peculiar wallet, Lead Wallet. We've tagged it the world's simplest cryptocurrency wallet. It has lots of features. It's available on Google Play Store. It's available on Apple Store as well. It has multiple features. And one of our biggest dreams is to be able to plug in to all systems. Right now, we have DeFi access granted within the wallet. We have a multi-chain NFT wallet as well. And why we're here, why we're partnering with NextType and hope to partner with other projects is we want to be able to also plug into GameFi. There's no way you can function within the blockchain space without a wallet. What we aim to achieve is to be the one-stop wallet for all the needs that a crypto enthusiast, a GameFi enthusiast, and NFT enthusiast will need. So just a quick introduction to what is Lead Wallet. Lead Wallet is the simplest, it is yet sophisticated, it's multi-chain, it's a multi-functional cryptocurrency wallet which enables users to interact with dApps and DeFi built on various blockchains. Lead Wallet eliminates the need for crypto users to use multiple wallets for different transactions. Because of lack of interoperability and cross-chain functionality, we see users having to use 2 to 3 different kind of wallets to perform different tasks. They have a wallet which maybe is their favorite, and that wallet only supports a few chains. But when the need is there to interact with another dApp, which is built on a different chain, they have to switch to another wallet. And that is cumbersome. That is one of the things we seek to early minutes. So let's take a look at what we have as features. One of our biggest dreams, something we're working on, is to support as many blockchains that exist within the cryptosphere. Currently we support over 15 blockchains. We support Heco, we support Tezos, Celo, we support BNB, we support RSK, which is dApps built on Bitcoin. So we also have the same support for NFT assets. Yeah, we also have a multi-sender feature. This is an amazing feature, actually. It enables users to send crypto assets to multiple addresses. And it doesn't mean you have to put a fixed amount. You can send crypto assets with varying amounts. This is very important for projects that carry promotions like airdrops, like giveaways. You can send to thousands of addresses in a single transaction. You don't need to send things one after the other. We have a simple CSV formatted app. We give a sample. You look at once you download it, you can use it to build your own list of addresses and the amounts, and it helps you to send easily. Our multi-sender feature, just like the wallet, is also multi-chain. It's not limited to Ethereum. It's not limited to Binance Smart Chain. It's multi-chain as well, so that users can send across multiple assets, whether it's on Polygon, Avalanche, Zilliqa, whatever the wallet supports. You could multi-send assets through our wallet application. We are currently working on several integrations, which will be pushed. This is not yet live, but it will be pushed with our next update on Play Store and Apple Store. It will include regular swaps, which crypto users are already accustomed to. But we are also going to be integrating cross-chain swaps. I mean, one-touch instant cross-chain swaps. You don't need to move from one application or one app to another. You just open the app. You can swap with non-compatible chains. It's not going to be just chains that are EVM compatible. You can swap assets with between chains that are actually non-compatible. And also, we are integrating the crypto to fiat swap or RAM services. But for this, we're starting with Nigeria. So users can, one of the things we complain about is we have crypto, but we don't know how to spend it, or we can't spend it, or it's difficult. A lot of people have been scammed when they're trying to provide their crypto back to fiat. But with a platform like Lead Wallet, where there's a high level of security and trust, users can be rest assured that swapping their assets to fiat will be a seamless process. So I've already talked about this, but we have a very beautiful multi-chain NFT wallet. Just like the crypto asset wallet, we have an NFT wallet where users can interact with their favorite collectibles. It could be in Heco chain, it could be in BNB chain, it could be on Ethereum. Wherever it is, you can store your assets in Lead wallets. You can send, you can receive, you can plug into dApps and interact as much as possible with our NFT wallet. We have our DeFi Access browser. We offer a built-in Web3 browser where users can interact with their favorite dApps, carry out transactions with ease, and so much more. And the beautiful thing about this is, you see the warning on PancakeSwap. They say, please make sure you're visiting the right URL. When you're in Lead Wallet, there's no chance of falling for a phishing scam. You have no chance of entering the wrong website. We provide it, we've checked it. We just provide a button, an icon, you click, it takes you to the dApp you want to interact with, and you carry out a transaction, your funds fall into your wallet, or you do your exchange however you want to do it, and it's instant with Lead Wallet. Finally, Lead Wallet is non-custodial. It gives you 100% control of your assets. We don't hold your funds. We don't hold security. We don't hold your private keys. We don't store them on any server. everything about Lead Wallet is non-custodial. It's about us giving back to the people, to the masses, what the blockchain industry is really about, which is basically, can you hear me? Skyler, I think you're trying to say something. Your mic is muted.
Oh, sorry.
We're trying to say something.
No, continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay. Well, that's it for me for now. This is all about Lead Wallet. We're constantly integrating newer features. We are trying to grow further. What we want to do, or what we have in mind, is an all-inclusive ecosystem. We don't pay attention to competition. We just want the whole crypto industry to grow, to lead to complete mass adoption. So that is Lead Wallet's dream. That's my dream. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, ANC, for bringing us so many information about Lead Wallet and showing us how Lead Wallet works. And I believe that all the audience who's watching the live stream learn a lot about this excellent multi-chain, multifunctional cryptocurrency wallet. Thank you, ANC.
Thank you very much.
And we know that hot topics like DeFi and NFT have become more and more popular, and we can actually see so many funds just keep pouring in. So here comes our second panel discussion. We'll be focusing on these two topics. The first one is, why does capital love GameFi? And the next one is, what kind of GameFi projects does capital prefer? So before we start our next discussion, please let me introduce you to all our guests who are joining in our second panel discussion today. So the host for our second discussion is Romeo Wang. He's a SVP of Hobby Tech, and he was actually in our 26th live stream and did a great representation on Hobby Tech. Hi, Romeo. And the guests we're having today are Christine Lee, Head of Strategic Investment M&A, and Kevin Yan, Investment Director of Gate Ventures, and Yi-Ming Hu, Associate of Draper Dragon, and Todd, VP of ANT Capital, and Joanna, CEO and co-founder of J Square and CIO of DFG. And we have OFR's partner, JX. Is everybody here? Yeah, I think everyone's here. So Romeo, the time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Skyler. Thank you for having me here. It's actually the second time I'm joining this program. Tonight I'm going to be the moderator, which is my favorite role. I'm not so sure whether we have all the panelists, but I think it's a time up. We should probably just keep the ball moving. All right. We probably will miss one or two, I guess. All right. So maybe we just start. Okay. All right, so tonight we have an interesting topic. We have so many great companies represented in tonight. You are all from the leading investment firms, and your inside your track record already prove you're really great in the GameFi sector. I think now is thousands people are really watching our session, and I think they are definitely looking forward from you, like Mr. Money or Mrs. Money, where you want to spend your money. I think that's the most of this game developers, they are looking forward to it. So let's start my first questions. So just say, why capital loves GameFi? I would say, what makes GameFi so appealing to your investment portfolio? So I may start with a lady first. I saw Joanna. So probably you want to start it?
Yeah. Let me just turn on my camera first. Yeah. Hello, everybody, and thank you. Very happy to be here today, and I would just like the first question is what makes like GameFi so appealing to us, right? So I think apparently like GameFi has already become an unstoppable trend. Basically a huge blue ocean market right now. Not only because of the figures it already achieved in the secondary market, like we can see. We can see that there are tens of billions. There are projects that already worth tens of billions of dollars in volume right now, like Axie Infinity, like GMT, and more. And I think one of the other prominent reason is that the pandemic, a black swan event. So COVID has actually shifted and changed people's lives tremendously in the last 2.5 years. And so it doesn't change, doesn't not only change our daily lives, but also even the country economy. So for daily life, we have growing needs for remote meetings and diversified styles of entertainment. And for some like commodity exporting countries, they are even getting into some trouble into the economic growth. And so at this point, we need some more industry or emerging industry to shift or to to serve the new economic growth point. And I think GameFi has become one for especially some of the Southeastern Asia countries. We see that some people have higher demands of entertainment, and some people can find a job in this industry to support the whole family event. So this way it results to the popularity of the GameFi projects. And GameFi itself is very appealing to us because of its like new mechanism, a combination of the traditional gaming and also the DeFi, the token economy part. So yeah, so this is basically my answer to this.
Thank you, Joanna, talking about the pandemic and also the mechanism. I can see the pandemic definitely changed a lot of people's lifestyle. I saw Kelvin has very long. I'm not so sure whether you have last time you have your haircut. Probably you want to follow that question to be the second one to share your thoughts.
Okay, thank you very much, Romeo. So, right, the reason why we're interested in investing games is that we truly believe that blockchain games somehow is in line with the bigger narrative, and that is Web3. People need to be consider about this digital ownership, right? So the reason we're investing in games is because we believe that what haven't been realized in terms of the user's value, let's say the composability as well as social interactions. So without blockchain or crypto, we can hardly realize these kind of values directly from the traditional mechanism, right? Because you see, when you play a game, all the digital assets are owned by the game companies, not by the users, right? But all the values generated from gamers' social interactions and their creativities should be recognized. And we truly believe that right now the website, the internet is broken, highly broken, and we need to move into the new phase, that is Web3. And we believe that blockchain plus game is somehow in line with bigger narrative here. So we are interested in investing in any games. Right, thank you.
Thank you. I think Kelvin just further explanation, give a further explanation about the mechanism. And he mentioned about the digital ownership, which create the value to the owner, to the user, the player. They own the value, and that's to contribute to the mechanism. So let me move to the third one. I just randomly pick up the one who's showing your face in my screen. So it's a random order. I see it's Yiming Hu. Yeah,
Yes.
you are right in my screen. So please.
All right, thanks, Romeo. I think Joanna just made a great intro about the sector, numbers, and how potential the market is. Kevin talked about Web3. I totally agree with like what you guys just said. Generally speaking, metaverse, GameFi, NFTs are very likely to be the next trend in the crypto market after DeFi. And one more reasons that we like it because it attracts a lot of attentions and users. I think a lot of games that I have tested or I have played are very likely it's just like Web2 games. You don't have to when you register, you don't have to connect your wallet. You only need to connect your wallet when you are cashing out or when you're trading NFT items. It's absolutely lowering the entry barrier for people who want to get into the Web3 world. But personally, I'm very neutral about on GameFi. Sometimes I'm a little bit confused because the games that I have played are not fun enough. So I can't really imagine that people are. I can't imagine people really like to play this game if there are no incentive tokens. So GameFi is a good idea. But it still has a long way to go. Yeah, this is my opinion. I take these questions as our opinions about GameFi. So yeah, that's it.
Exactly, Yiming. I think he shared very good on both sides, and apparently he is one really plays the game. In my life, I see many people really investing in GameFi, probably not just play every single game. They would be in touch. So that would be very interesting. You raise really good point. Let's move to the next one, Christine Lee from Hobby Tech as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm very to be here. This is Christine from Hobby Technology, and I'm head of strategic investment M&A. I joined Hobby 4 years ago. I work as a project researcher, and I was work with many other teams. For example, I doing this in BD, asset research, and investment and portfolio management for Hobby Capital and Hobby Eco. Now our team numbers with me here, and they would like to say hi to everyone.
Hi, this is Julio. I work with Christine. We are the Hobby Tech investment team. Thank you guys for tonight's time. And next, Leila is also from our team.
I should charge you. It's advertising. I should charge you extra sponsorship, Christy. Okay, just keep going, please.
Okay. I learned about crypto in 2017 and Hobby next year. This industry is fast developing. People say that one day in the crypto equals 1 year in the Web2. And it was just last year that GameFi was born and went viral. As a retail user, we can see several features of GameFi. The first feature is multi-dimension and easy onboarding because GameFi can easily connect systems such social media, H5, and Mind, which bring convenience for users. Latest games come with more token utilization, as well as Web3. An example is Step N. So GameFi is natural application of blockchain. The second feature is play to earn. Players can gain from gaming. GameFi projects can adjust the return cycle, and players can earn natural NFTs and game tokens worth dollars. Even more cadent GameFi design means greater space for upcharge. Speak personal decentralization is less concerned. A healthy game systems and reward is way more important. It also means investor can take the profit quickly. And thirdly, GameFi is the gateway for non-crypto. We can see that the GameFi has gradually actually many companies as well as sorry.
Yeah, you are still with us, Christy. You're finished, or do you have any more comments on your thoughts? Christy, can you hear us? Okay, I think the connection maybe not so good. Let's move to the next one. I see JX is on the screen. Probably JX. So do you like to have your thoughts shared with us?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. I think I entered the GameFi space pretty early. So since our previously we work in Binance Labs and pushed the X Infinity Sandbox, Alien Worlds, and a couple of like GameFi projects on Launchpad before the GameFi concept has become invalid in the Web3 space. So alternatively, and we founded OI4 and also started GameFi as our one of our main investment thesis. We supported like Genopass and a couple of other GameFi projects, as well as also incubated like Meta Derby, MVM, like some gaming guilds and some like gaming infrastructure. Personally, I'm still like bullish on GameFi direction. But I think maybe we can discuss further in the later topics. But personally, the first one will continue to investing in the GameFi direction. But we are kind of like see too much kind of play to earn, walk to earn, and a lot of like XX to earn type model. So kind of the to earn model will be the most easy to comprehend and also easy to bootstrap users by the token offering to users, kind of like a marketing event. But anything like this, it's kind of the reward users with the tokens. It says limited because the bullets you have is limited. The token supply is fixed, or even it is not fixed, so the token value will be limited. So I think will be there's some evolution in the kind of format on the GameFi direction. So we haven't invested too actively recently because most of the projects recently are still like copycats of like the famous model, either X Infinity or Steppen. So basically, some like guests have speaking of the like the how fun it is to play the GameFi is not as comparable as like traditional games. But to us, the game is not like the video game. We mentioned the same concept that we used to have. It's kind of like the GameFi or gamification in kind of the what the Web2 internet concept we used to referring. It kind of add some gaming elements, either like lottery or kind of rewards with token or NFTs. but not necessarily to be a real video game or triple game. So even a lot of like projects on GameFi, they're claimed to be the AAA game, but I still doubt they will attract like users from outside of crypto. So from us, we will continue to focusing on looking for projects that have more like evolutionary like the gamification methods with a different incentivization on the token model or like new form of product that could be easily onboard users. Yeah, I think that's what I want to talk about on this question. Thanks. Go back to
Thank
the host.
you, JX. I'm not so sure whether we have the Todd here. We're supposed to have Todd. You are with us. Please just show your face on the screen, because I don't think I have you here. All right. If you're not with us, we will just keep moving on. I think it just follow JX the answer. He already a little bit just touch upon the next question I'm gonna ask. It just the audience waiting for you to answer where you want to spend money to invest. So what kind of projects you or your or even team you make you more excited? I know some of you already say you have a different opinion. Say I'm not ready. I probably more conservative. I need to watch more projects. But if that case you're not so ready, or find a typical type of the project you want to invest in, probably you can share some sort of say what kind of what area you think is the GameFi needs to achieve some of the breakthrough before they reach to your standard ready to invest. So I just say this is an open question. Either part you want to answer is fine. So I want to start with the reverse sequence, because I said later one probably some of the thoughts already be shared. So maybe this time we start with JX. So maybe JX, you want to start with the second question. Just
sure, thanks. Yep. Yeah. Okay. I think I already touched based on some of the key points you just mentioned. So just maybe dig deeper on this topic. So from what our expectation, I think the lifetime of the game would be vital for our current GameFi, like most of our play to earn or XX to earn model. So I think they are in a sense they are the same. So kind of what we see is like a quasi Ponzi game. So sorry, I got knocked down. So I think for us, I think the most importantly is to see how long the lifetime span can be. There are basically two ways to burn it. One is kind of the in-game burning, no matter it's kind of lottery or it's kind of NFT selling, or it's kind of using various ways that to do marketing. But in practically, it's kind of like incentivize the users to have more in-game purchasing activities and spending more time in the game, to hedge their risk to selling out their positions. This will be key for all the gamification or GameFi projects. So another thing is to kind of make the tokens could be more liquid, or more like they have more liquid in different exchanges or different like buying powers. As we may observed, like maybe less than 10% people will actually play the game, and most of the people will just hold the tokens. So the token buyers would input the value accrued from their end. So basically that means those token buyers will just pay for the users, and the users will gain from the token buyers who may lost their positions at a very high level. It is really important for us to see those really succeeded game will launch on big exchanges before or right after the real game mechanism launch. So if it didn't succeed, it will be really hard to keep the users within the ecosystem. If most people are just to come to earn instead of they are just buying the tokens or buying the FTs, which means they are kind of providing the reward, providing the token accrued value. Yeah, so I think there's more beyond what we think of the business model. Instead, that is more like the operation and kind of the marketing strategy, and also the what do we say about the go-to market or go-to exchange strategy, basically. So that's why we see the most succeeded like GameFi projects are listed on Binance or Coinbase, or some are on FTX. Since they have the volumes, have the exchanges, and some many GameFi projects that has been doing pretty well, like the City Arena, like Star Sharks, but they ended like going to the downward slope because they didn't make it to list it on large exchanges to liquidate the tokens to actually I would say it more like straightforwardly to dump their tokens on a massive users who do not play the game. Yep. So for GameFi projects, they have big pressure to be listed on exchanges. That will kind of like give you the will become some like the interfering factors that you should consider beyond the product itself. So if I am a founder or a dev from the project, I would not believe this would be a model that's sustainable because there are so many factors you cannot control in the exchange conversation or like the kind of because the market condition is also unpredicted. So for us, I think we need to find the models who are not so rely on the tokenomics and which basically need to go to exchange very soon since their game launch and their tokens should be liquid. So they have pressures on the exchanges and also for the investors. So it's something I would suggest that every entrepreneurs and founders should consider when to deliver the product and when to go to the exchange. And that should be a combination to be involved beyond the game itself. Yeah, that's basically what I take. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for such an in-depth sharing. Just give a suggestion to all the game developers. There's not so hurry for the exchange and also rely on the tokenomics. So that's a good answer. So let's move to the next one is Christine. Christine, it's your turn now.
Hello. Thank you, Romeo. Here's my idea. Maybe some of them have already been put out. For any project, it has to meet a demand for drawing attention. The demand can be either of mandatory return or curiosity satisfying or even a good time killer. So I believe Capital would prefer to see GameFi project with following details. First, it could be fun games, games with consistent innovation, or games with excellent user experience. Or games with regular support like UGG. Sorry, UGG is my first choice. YGG, user growth and stable money in flow case here. Thirdly, project with a reasonable valuation. We are seeing some case with higher price for primary market than secondary market, or sky-high valuation with poor liquidity. Also, reasonable can be different from case to case. Depends project, financial stage, and user base, and so on. So please don't ask me what the valuation would be. So I think investor or player need to shift the knowledge into cash. Feature and capacity boundaries of fund are the basis for investment. The boundary can be grouped into having the areas of that I know the project, be not having the areas of the know the project. Say knowing that I don't know the project, the not knowing that I don't know the project. However, I would like elaborate on this some other time and hear what other people have to say about this first. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. You are looking for a good project with a fair valuation. That's a good point. Thank you. So let's move to Yiming. It's now your time.
Okay. By the way, for people who don't know us, we are. Our fund's name is Draper Dragon. We're the first international fund in Draper ecosystem. Our fund was established in 2005 after Tim Draper invested in Baidu. The reason why I mentioned this it's because we invested in quite many Web2 games, and unfortunately they all fell. So we are quite conservative in this sector. We only invested in one GameFi, and it was a really light game. It was some kind of happy farm game. You can just grow some plants or steal other people's plant, something like that. I really like a word that JX used. He mentioned that the game has to be revolutionary. And I totally agree. It got to be something fun, innovative, and well-made. And hopefully the development team is solid and very experienced. I can't think of many like how to say this. What kind of GameFi projects that we prefer, but yes. I can share some story about or some negative points about game, things that you shouldn't do. The first one is stop transitioning those kind of Web2 failure games to Web3, or just plagiarize those kind of famous game and make a copycat version in Web3. Those are unacceptable for us. Yeah. And by the way, we also focus on the governance, because in our opinion, there is no perfect tokenomic. So like I just mentioned, the game has to be great, has to be fun, attract a lot of players, and then with the good governance, the company or DAO can fix whatever the problem is. So yeah, that's my opinion. Thanks.
Thank you, Yiming. Thanks for sharing. I like your point. It's not just to do, but also suggest not to do things. That's good advice for the audience. So now we have my best friend, Kelvin.
Okay, thank you, Romeo. Right, in terms of our strategy in the gaming sector, I would say, as I mentioned previously, we're quite interested in any game, but the standard here is pretty high. So that's why so far we haven't invested in any single game so far. But we do have some investment in the fundamental layer, because so far the benchmark in the gaming sector, I have to say, still it's Axie Infinity, right? So we have been tracking the Axie Infinity data frequently, and recently we also noticed this incident happened in Axie Infinity's running, right? So we have to say that there is something missing in the fundamental infrastructure layer. So that's why we are putting more, how to say, investment amounts in the infrastructure layer, let's say, because I think it makes sense because first thing, it's something related with our general investment strategy here. If you notice that, you could check our website, right? Get Ventures was newly launched in last September, and so far we already closed more than $40 million US. And you see, we don't have many portfolio startups and protocols. We have been quite selective in terms of any investment, whether it's an equity or token, right? So that's the one point. The second point is something with our thesis in the gaming sector. So we tend to invest first in the infrastructure layer, and then we want to further foster, facilitate middle layer structures, and then the application, the specific games, right? And the third point, I believe many people have already addressed, and I have to say, because what we have seen in previous games, actually it does not make any sense, I have to say, because you cannot bring a dead game to be a successful one. Let's say you only use, right, this concept or this word like blockchain, crypto, etc. Blockchain or crypto is not a magical word that somehow you can make impossible possible, right? So and still we're a crypto venture fund, so our perspective will still coming from the crypto side, not the gaming side. And I have to say the current play to earn scenario business model is more like a gaming equivalent of DeFi liquidity mining somehow, right? But anyway, it's my personal perspective, so it could be debatable, right? Right, and yeah, I guess that's the idea, right? So we tend to be more focused on infrastructure layers, even in the gaming sector, right?
Thank you, Kevin. You share a very interesting angle, talking about investing in the GameFi sector, not just application level, but you also looking at infrastructure, maybe give you more opportunity. So I guess I can tell how high you set the bar is you select your project and how deep your pocket is. You have so many money, you can invest in such an infrastructure, which could be a very big size. Very, very interesting. Okay, the last but not the least, let's have the Joanna.
Yeah, thank you, Romeo. Yeah, it's finally my turn. Yeah, actually, the previous panelists have brought up some ideas that not only from the infrastructure level, but also the top application level. I think they actually brought up a lot of pinpoints that we need to tackle in the next maybe a few months or even a few years to deal with. Like JX, he mentioned two games, Theater Arena and Star Sharks. We happen to invest in both, and I believe I promise you guys that these are really two very very good games. But it's unstoppable that that they are still going through a sharp going down. I mean, in terms of the price side. So what is the real problem? Actually, JX has already brought up some of his opinions, but I think actually it's still the early stage of GameFi projects currently. So we still need time to give to let all the problems fixed. So in terms of our current focus, so on how we invest in different kinds of GameFi projects, I think the two biggest focus for us are still the first is the experience, and the second is the in-game token economy. And so So in terms of the experience side, I think actually experience can give the users or players kind of the pure emotional value that so this is something that as long as the game explore further into people's needs and emotions, and you can create more organic consumptions for users and players to play and to come to your game and stay in your game. And so this is something that is very important. But unfortunately, most of the games right now, they don't have demo, or they are not very mature enough for investors to come when you make the investment. So what we focus more on this point will be the game, the team itself. So the team background and what kind of games they design or participated before. And so this is the one biggest focus for us. And the second is the token economy, and which a lot of panelists have already brought up before as well. I think what we focus a lot is how these games will create more value preserving assets in game. And like a lot of games are like they kind of create like three token model, and some of them are create more different kinds of NFT collections and the sell lands, or they create more like fancy ideas on how to like transit this kind of inflation, the value to different kinds of assets that people can hold. And I think this is actually to some extent, you can say Ponzi, but this is kind of good as well, because you can because in this way you can not only people would like to stay in the game, but also they would like to stay their assets, or they cannot sell it in the market. Yeah, so I think this source of this is also like have good aspect for such innovations. And so this is basically what we will focus on most in terms of the investment part. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jonah, for sharing your thoughts about experience is important, and also we should look at the tokenomics. And congratulations for you investing such a successful 2 games in the GameFi sector. And probably everyone should really to play with the Stash X. Okay, time is up. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank everyone participate to this panel tonight. Maybe different time zooms, but just thank you for all your sharings. Thank you. So Scarlett, I give the time back to you. Sorry for
all right. Thank you, Romeo. And thank all the guests for everyone's amazing discussion. I think it's a great opportunity for our viewers to look at GameFi projects, or even the GameFi industry in capital and ventures perspective. So thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Bye.
Thank you. And thank you all for today's fantastic presentation and discussion. Well, it's almost the end of this live stream, so please let me say something about my perspectives. As we noted that GameFi plays an essential role in metaverse, so we all expect a better vision and future for GameFi industry. And those who, no matter have chosen to work in GameFi industry like us, or decide to, play blockchain games now, we all believe that GameFi is going to revolutionize the traditional game industry, and we will also try our best to let our players feel the fun about play to earn and promote the development of the whole industry. And finally, thanks again to all our guests today for giving your precious time and unique insights into GameFi. And thank all the viewers who've been watching our live stream today. And if you have any questions, or if you want to know more about our hackathon, please check the detail under the live channel. So that's it. See you guys next time. Bye.